Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Thursday, February 27th, and we are up to Ezekiel 37, verse 7. We talked about the fact that there were 8 things the Lord said that he would do to these dry bones in this valley that Ezekiel was brought to. And now we're up to verse 7, which says, "So I prophesied, and I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a sound, and behold, a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to its bone." Stop and think about what this experience must have been like. To be standing in this valley, you've got all these dry, dead bodies all over the place around you, and they start to rattle. They start to move together, and the bones begin to connect. Verse 8, "And I looked, and behold, there were sinews on them." We talked about that definition yesterday. "And flesh had come upon them." We talked about that too. "And skin had covered them." We looked at that yesterday, but there was no breath in them. So, you can kind of equate this to a zombie. They're not living yet. They're not breathing. They're not exchanging that oxygen and carbon dioxide just yet. Then he said to me, "Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man, and say to the breath, Thus says the Lord God, come from the 4 winds, O breath, and breathe on these slain, that they may live." All right, so there's got to be something significant here. God restores these bodies in every way except for the breath. And now Ezekiel is being told, you've got to prophesy a second time now, and these bones are going to begin to breathe. And when you prophesy, you're going to have that breath come from the 4 winds. So of course, these 4 winds is very important. So the 4 winds is the movement of air. It's coming from all the different corners of the earth. And when we look at this in the Cultural Study Bible, it said, "The breath will blow on the bones in the valley and bring them to life." The source of this breath is the 4 winds, meaning the 4 directions. In both Hebrew and Akkadian, the expression stands for the division of the world into 4 quadrants, a typical ancient Near Eastern manner of speaking of the world in its totality. So this breath is coming from the earth, the entirety of God's creation. In the Bible, the phrase 4 winds can refer to all directions, the 4 corners of the earth, or the earth and heaven as a whole. It's often used to describe a significant, unusual, or devastating event. Some examples of the 4 winds. In Revelation 7:1, 4 angels stand on the corner of the earth holding the 4 winds. In Zechariah 6:5, the verse says, "The 4 winds of heaven," and I'm going to read that for you. "And the angel answered and said to me, These are going out to the 4 winds of heaven after presenting themselves before the Lord of all the earth." The meaning of the 4 winds is very significant. The east wind means judgment, the west wind means change, the south wind means heat, and the north wind means cold. Who's in control of these winds? God, only God. And the phrase 4 winds is used principally to describe the whole of the earth or heaven. It encompasses all the directions and the 4 corners of the earth. That's from BibleStudy.org. So there's some other verses that also had it. In Jeremiah 49:36, it says, "And I will bring upon a lamb the 4 winds from the 4 corners of heaven, and I will scatter them to all those winds, and there shall be no nation to which those driven out of a lamb shall not come." So that's that judgment coming in. In Matthew 24:31, it says, "And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of the heaven to the other." This entire passage speaks to God's sovereignty and how mighty God is and that he is in control. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.